Okay, sorry about that. I think we're ready to begin.
Hey, no problem, man. I appreciate you giving me your time this evening.
Of course.
All right, so if you're ready, we can go ahead and get started.
Hang on, I'm trying to adjust my camera here. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I think that's good. All right.
All right, so if you're ready, we'll go ahead and begin now. My name is Steven. I run Proverbs Guys Ministries. We're a Christian young earth creation ministry. Obviously, being tied to young earth creationism, I'm aware of who Steven Anderson is. You are one of his children, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm his second oldest son, Isaac.
You're the second oldest. All right. How many of the siblings are there total?
There are 12 total, 7 boys, 5 girls. 8 still live at home.
Were you guys always homeschooled?
Yes. None of us have ever been public schooled or private schooled, just homeschooled.
Okay. I'm also from a homeschooling family. I'm middle of 7, so I kind of relate, but you guys have us way outnumbered. So I thought
honestly, man, once it's past like 6 kids, I didn't notice a difference. Like 7 kids, 9 kids, 12 kids, you stop noticing at some point.
Absolutely.
Like it didn't change the dynamic much after they had like 6 kids to 12. I didn't notice anything.
Yeah. Well, all right. So what is that like, man? Like, what is the day-to-day life of being in the Anderson family? What is that like?
I mean, so we got up usually pretty early, probably between 6 and 7 a.m. We had chores, breakfast, a lot of chores. Then we do our school. We did a lot of chores every day because usually the older kids, at least when I lived at home, it was basically like me, Solomon, John, and then when I was getting closer to moving out, Miriam and Rebecca helped out more with chores too, but we did the bulk of the chores. We were doing a lot of laundry, dishes, cleaning, taking care of little kids, because obviously little kids don't take care of themselves. So a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Our main recreation was just playing outside or reading books. Like I did not see a movie for the first time until I was probably 13 years old or so, 12 or 13.
Wow. And that was common for all of you and the siblings?
Well, yes and no. We got movies introduced when I was 13. So John saw his first movie at 11. Miriam would have seen it at 9 and so on, younger and younger. So obviously the other kids didn't wait till they were 13 to see movies. That's just when they got introduced to all of us.
Okay, so is that just the age where you guys were old enough to kind of experience movies at your friend's house, or did it come a certain point where your dad just sort of relented a little bit and let you guys, see movies?
I never watched a movie at a friend's house before. Well, it just wasn't something that we did. We weren't allowed to do that. We were not allowed to go to other kids' houses and hang out for fear of molestation mainly. So never sleepovers, never anything like that. We didn't go to other kids' houses.
Yeah.
I know a couple times we spent a few times with Solomon's girlfriend's family, a couple times, but we didn't watch movies with them. So, and then as far as why we were allowed to, I think they just started letting up on it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember why. It just happened. The first time I ever went to a movie theater was to see After the Tribulation when my dad put it in theaters. That was the first time I had ever been to a movie theater in my life, which that would have been in 2012. So I would have been a little younger then, but then I think in 2016 was the first time I actually saw a movie.
Did you guys have friends outside of your immediate church community, or growing up were your friends always sort of strong followers, families of followers of your dad?
Neither. They didn't have any kids at the church that were even close to my age until I was like 12. And then the first kid that they had that like I was actually hanging out with at church, I was 12 and he was probably like 8 or 9. So he was somebody to hang out with. So no, and we didn't really have a lot of kids in our neighborhood. We had like this one kid who lived across the street from us, but we didn't really like him that much. He's kind of weird. And he ended up moving anyway. So my parents tried to put us in like homeschool groups and stuff, but if you ever talk to homeschoolers, they're real weird. They all talk the same for some reason. They have that homeschooler speech impediment.
Yeah.
I fortunately didn't catch it, but it seemed like everybody else had it.
Yeah.
So no, I did not have any friends growing up. Not really. Besides, I guess when I was older, we talked to kids at church, but we weren't allowed to like go out and hang out with church people. The only way to hang out with your friends at church might be to go soul winning with them.
Now, when you were a kid going through that type of environment, did you see it as over restrictive, or did you just think you had parents that were, up and tight?
I thought it was normal. I didn't know any better. Like, to me, it was just, oh yeah, that's just how it is. Like, I didn't feel overly restricted because I didn't know any better. Obviously, in hindsight, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that because my dad was a third generation Marine and he
Hmm.
was a little tough on us too. You know, and I know you can relate. And sometimes, you know, he went over the line. And even now, after he's been passed away several years from
Hmm.
COVID, even today, it's sort of hard to figure out like, okay, what was harsh parenting and what was borderline child abuse and what was plain out
Hmm.
child abuse. Do you kind of have those mental battles too?
No, it's very obvious that what happened wasn't even slightly close to acceptable or reasonable. Like, I can understand if your kid mouths off and you slap them or something in a fit of anger. It was no, it was they were just so far off the reservation. There's no excuses you can make for it. I know his retarded fans won't stop making excuses for him, and oh, you're just a wimp who can't handle getting spanked or something, and they're just stupid. I don't even want to keep arguing with them. They're stupid. And now they've already Faithful Word Baptist is already publishing on their public Facebook page. Well, the Bible's actually pretty quiet on spousal punishment. No, it's not. And it's not spousal punishment, it's felony domestic abuse, I think is the actual word for it. That's the actual term. And I love how they ignore the Bible. I want to ask that Jonathan Shelley, what is it? Why he says it's not really a big deal. Hey, coward, he's a spineless wimp who won't condemn it. And I want to ask him this: doesn't the Bible say we're supposed to obey the laws of the land? Whenever possible. It's illegal, you scumbag. That guy is a spineless wimp, and of course, I mean, he's just a complete loser. He has zero integrity, no backbone. He needs to quit sitting on the fence and decide if he's on the side of right or wrong. And he's casting his lot in with child abusers. He needs to throw Jonah over off the boat pretty quick, or go down with him. My dad,
Hmm.
they love to keep comparing Bible characters. Yeah, my dad's Jonah. They need to throw us overboard.
You know, a lot of them are. I don't know how well you know Matt Powell, but even Matt Powell has recently renounced your dad.
I knew Matt Powell. I haven't seen him in several years. I know him and my dad had some sort of falling out. I'm not sure over what though. I know my mom particularly hated his wife. I don't know why. She
I
hated his wife Frances.
Yeah, France. Okay, yeah. Well, I know part of the reason he may have fallen out with him was because he went to live with Kent Hovind at Dinosaur Adventureland, where that's actually where I was introduced to Matt Powell for the first time. And you know, your dad hates Kent Hovind.
I am slightly disappointed to hear that because I'm not a humongous fan of Kent Hovind. He seems a little out there these days. I'm not a big fan of him. I am disappointed to hear that Matt Powell lives on his weird compound or whatever. I hope he's still not living there.
Actually, Matt
But
Matt went moved away back home several years ago. He's doing like traveling evangelism now. So Matt Powell's ministry is
oh, well,
doing pretty
good.
good.
Well, either I haven't really seen what he's been up to. I hadn't even heard about him in years. And then I know him, my dad had a falling out. And then obviously I saw his YouTube video and I was glad to see that he was supporting us. And obviously I've had a bunch of people reaching out. I got even Tyler Baker was like messaging me and stuff. Everybody my dad's ever pissed off is messaging me now. So yeah, it's kind of neat actually.
If you don't
I'm not
mind,
sure if all of them have the best intentions, but if
oh,
someone
I'm
sends me a
sure.
nice message, I thank them for it. I don't really care who it is. But like my dad had some lady he kicked out of church like probably 15 years ago who's messaging me with support.
That's pretty sad. Sad on his side, but good for you, you know.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you've seen like some of the defenses that they're coming out with. It
Mhm.
seems like they're trying to go with their well, of course they're going to push towards you guys are not being totally honest. And now it's kind of funny because it looks like your dad has taken the position that he and your mom are more or less into BDSM, and that's where some of the
Yeah.
confusion came from. But I
No,
just
there
can't
was no confusion. There was
dude, your
no
dad is
confusion.
too tight laced. I can't
No,
picture
no,
him
no.
into anything weird.
For the record, they are into that crap. I don't really want to talk about it because it's weird. I don't know if you saw my brother John's video. John gets into it. They are into that, and we would hear them doing that too. It was two very separate things. And we knew because my dad's trying to play it off like we were stupid little kids who just overheard some noises and got confused. Oh, dad's hurting mom, like we're stupid or something.
Yeah.
He's trying to play us off as just fools. And honestly, he's a complete idiot for even suggesting that because all he's doing is asking us to just talk about it more. But no, we knew what was happening. And his stupid excuse, I remember when he came up with that excuse. He came up with it when I was chewing him out just earlier this year, telling him that he's a deadbeat wife beater or whatever. And then he goes, "Oh, it was actually just a sex thing." He didn't bring that up years ago when I was also confronting him about these things. That wasn't a thing. Back then it was accused of, well, it's my wife, I'm the head of my household. He didn't clear up the confusion that, oh no, that's just how we get down or whatever. Which I'm sure that's how he also gets down. Because like I remember as a child finding, a single ping pong paddle and we didn't own a table tennis set,
Yeah.
which at the time I didn't
Understandable.
realize that.
I mean, you kind of figured out as a kid, like I said, I'm one of 7, so we figured out
Mhm.
that my parents were into that extracurricular activity at a young age. And you guys, being 12 strong, you probably figured it out even, sooner.
I might add too, we lived in a 3-bedroom house. We could hear them at night. More
12
often.
kids in a 3-bedroom house?
I'm sorry, not 12. It would have been, they moved out of that house in 2020. I'm sorry. It would have either been 10 or 11. I think 11, barely 11, because they moved out towards the end of 2020. So depending on how old Eva is, they may or may not have either 10 or 11 kids living in the house because Oliver is only like 2 something. So he would not have been living there. They got their new house at the end of 2021. Sorry, end of
Okay.
2020, right before 2021. I don't remember the exact timeline, but
All right. So when it comes to how your parents parent, especially in the atheist community, they're pretty much pinning it on this is how all religious people punish their kids. They're pretty much making it a problem that's in the church. Is that how you see it? Or do you think your dad is just a
of course
special
not.
case? Is your dad
My
just
dad is a
angry?
special case. So that's exactly why my dad shouldn't be pastor because he's literally giving atheists on Reddit are talking crap about this is what fundamental Christians look like, or this is they're blaming it on Republicans, even though my dad hasn't voted in like 12 years or something. I think the last time he voted was in 2012. So they're blaming it on Republicans. He doesn't even vote, so he's not a Republican or a Democrat. They're blaming it on Christians. They're blaming it on fundamentalism. They're blaming it on religion in general. Well, that's stupid. Unless you're a Muslim, no religion condones beating women. I think Islam is the only one that I know of that just openly says, yeah, you can beat your women. The Bible says no such thing. I think my dad must be like reading the NIV like on the side or something because it says to treat your wife like your own flesh, but the NIV says that I beat my body and make it my slave. So I think my
Yeah.
dad's been he might have been like dabbling in those false versions, like he's like reading them on the side or something and getting the wrong idea because nothing in the KJV condones this. Quite the contrary.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But
And okay, and he's such a huge figure in the independent fundamental
mhm,
Baptist community. Like, how does he, and he's such a stickler for doctrine, how does
yep,
he then reconcile making doctrine that's not found in the King James Bible?
I don't know.
Hello, Brett.
Hey, what you up to? It takes me a moment to get things going. How you guys doing?
Good. Well, it's just me. I'm doing a interview recap episode.
Oh, is this a bad time for me to be in? I hate to interrupt if something's going on here.
No, you're good, man. What do you got going on tonight?
I just got done releasing another band I've been working with. So I'm pretty happy about that. Why'd that guy take off?
I just put it backstage. He's not actually here. That's a an episode I filmed a few months ago.
Really? My goodness, I was wondering what was happening there. I thought I was mentally ill at this moment.
No, no, no. Yeah, you know who Steven Anderson is, don't you?
Steven Anderson. Isn't that preacher that was talking about shooting people a while back?
Yep, that's the guy, America's hate preacher.
Well,
The
I don't
interview.
hate him. He can have any views he wants. I just hope he doesn't actually kill anybody. He'll end up in prison.
No, no, no. He's actually like America's hate preacher. Um, he teaches that if you're homosexual, you can never be saved. Um, and I'm not talking about like if you don't turn away from your sin and stop living in homosexuality. I'm talking about he thinks if you've ever been homosexual, there's no chance for you to ever repent. You might as well just take your life. And that is a extremely demonic ideology.
Well, that's I've been religious for a little while, but I don't recall reading in the Bible where it says that if someone asks for forgiveness and changes their life around, that they're still going to get screwed over it. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, he holds to a lot of bad doctrines, but also he was caught not long ago in a scandal where he was abusing his wife and children, and three or four of his oldest children have come out now, and they've all done interviews about his child abuse.
Oh dear, that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say, Stephen. It seems like that guy just keeps on getting himself in trouble. Wasn't he like had a close relationship with Matt Powell for a while there? Are they still buds?
I believe that Matt Powell wouldn't be quite as big as he is today if he didn't have the support of Steven Anderson in his early years. He kind of modeled himself as a protege of Steven Anderson, but kind of Steven Anderson light. And when he didn't fall square into that community, I think that's when he kind of started leaning towards more Kent Hovind.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why me and I didn't realize he was that influenced by Mr. Anderson, but there were a couple times me and Matt talked on the phone, and somehow he worked it into the topic about homosexuals, asking me my views, and I was like, well, I grew up in St. Louis, been around homosexuals all my life, so it doesn't like surprise me or shock me when somebody's like that. This whole transgender thing kind of blows my mind a little bit with some of the stupid scientific arguments they try to play, but yeah, gays don't really bother me, but I understand there's over 60 verses in the Bible where it's condemned, but a person can find redemption.
Hmm. See, my problem with Anderson's theology isn't telling people that if they continue in a sinful lifestyle that they're hellbound. I have no problem with that. That goes for homosexuality, thievery, drunkenness, whatever you chop it up to. If you live in that sin, you're going to go to hell. Almost guarantee it. But with Steven Anderson's theology, there's no such thing as repentance. There's no turning away from your sin, or even if you do turn away from your sin, God's going to blot you out for that past transgression. And it just doesn't make sense. There's no grace there.
Yeah, it's weird. And that ended up making Matt Powell tell me that I was hellbound. He claimed I was a supporter of homosexuals. I said, no, I don't support what they're doing. I support their redemption, though.
Well, I want everybody to get saved. Yeah, amen. Yeah, so that's the predicament.
Yeah, that's that's rough. The guy did seem very angry and upset. He seems pretty stressed out. Was he violated as a child or something? And is that where the anger comes from? Because usually people don't have that much hatred. There's only two reasons someone is that fierce towards homosexuals. One, they got raped when they were a child, or they're a homosexual themselves trying to hold it in internally. Which is it?
It's interesting that you say that because I mentioned something similar to my wife. I said, typically when you have men come off that hateful and energetic against them, and I'm not talking about witnessing to them and pointing out that they're living in sin in a loving way. I'm talking about the ones who really hate even the thought of them. They do seem to be closeted homosexuals. And I think you're right. I think they're trying to fight that urge. And he comes out against it the strongest as anyone I've ever seen. But it also caused another issue too, Brett. And it's this: the independent fundamental Baptists were kind of split on some theologies. So they split in half, and half of them went to start the NIFB, the New Independent Fundamental Baptists. And they were kind of molded and led by Steven Anderson. Now they're all having to renounce Steven Anderson and separate from like the leader of the whole movement, and it's kind of causing chaos.
Well, I would expect that if he's getting in trouble for the domestic abuse as well as the homosexual issues and all that. I'm surprised things didn't fall apart a lot sooner. But I got to be honest with you. I'm going to bring this up one more time. I was surprised at how into this guy Matt Powell was because you've talked to him. You've actually been around him personally. He seems like one of the most gentle spirits you could possibly interact with. But if homosexuality is brought in the conversation, all of a sudden his damn face turns as red as his hair.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with Matt Powell's theology on homosexuality. I think he could have relayed it in a more compassionate way than the blunt way he did. But I also know that Matt Powell is a brother in the Lord and he loves God and he wants to see people saved.
Matt Powell got angry with me because, and I don't think he should have, it was his own words, his own video, but he put a video up on the internet for everybody to see where he was going off on homosexuals. And I simply reviewed the video and I said, I disagree with this type of attitude towards it. I didn't call him any names. I still dug him. I just didn't like what he was saying in the video.
Mm, yeah. Well, I know the video that you're talking about, and I am curious. I would never ask him, but I am curious if he could go back and redo it. Would he release the exact same video that he did end up releasing, or would he have maybe presented it at a different light?
Oh, by the way, I can see comments. How you doing, Robin? Good night. If you're taking off and getting some sleep, sweet dreams on that.
Good night, Robin. She's one of the friendliest atheists you'll ever meet.
Oh, I've had her in my room before. She's pretty cool. She gets a little excited when there's other non-believers with her, though.
Yeah, she shows up at Amish farms late at night and takes their milk.
Yeah.
That's a true story, Brett. She's a truck delivery driver, so she has to go pick up their milk and then take it to the factory.
So I seen that you had a show that was sitting there for a while. Nobody was starting it, but it had to do with the topic was designer, and I thought that that was going to be pretty interesting. But you never went live on it. What happened with that?
Yeah, so Dan Pazzi, he was supposed to go live at 5, but he's been in the process of moving from one location to another, and he lives in California. And he's having to do it all by himself. So I think he just was unable to do it and forgot to let us know to reschedule.
Well, what's your views on it, Stephen?
On what? The name of his show is Designer Talk.
Yeah. So what's your views on the whole design thing? I know what your issue is on evolution, but I mean, do you have any thoughts that you haven't thrown out at me yet?
Well, I mean, I think Kent Hovind has an excellent point that when we see commonalities in DNA, it's not proof of common ancestry, but it is proof of a common designer. And he would use a common design code repeatedly if it's a proven working one.
You know, it's kind of weird, isn't it? When you look at DNA, even someone who isn't even a geneticist or anything like that, I mean, it's pretty clear our DNA has a purpose and function to it. And there's a lot of machinery going on all at the same time. I don't know how anybody in their right mind could say something like that is a chaotic process or unguided in any kind of way. It's obviously going in a direction.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting is, we talk about it all the time, the fact that other planets are much older than us and they are not evolved. And they'll take anything, a speck of dust, a rock, a mineral, and call it life, just to avoid the fact that we are unique in the universe.
Right, right. So there's people been bringing up about the idea of there might be some worlds out there that are older.
Well, yeah, that's the claim. And now they're saying that they found a planet that has H2O, frozen lakes of water on it. That I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to plan a future on another planet, but that's not going to save them escape judgment.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of claims and all that. One of the most interesting ones I never hear anybody talk about is the void that's coming. Have you heard of this?
No, what's that?
There's a void that's about 200 billion light years across. It's basically a rip in the universe. If anything goes into it, it basically You know how some people actually believe that the universe is like it's almost confined, like nothing can go outside of it. Well, with a void, it rips space and time. And if you go outside of that, it's the very definition of what it would be like of being in kind of a form of limbo or oblivion. You will float out into nothingness forever. And that's 200 billion light years of that coming in our direction.
Oh, I'm not afraid, Brett. I read the end of the Bible, and that's not how it ends for us.
Well, they're saying it's going to be many years before that son of a gun reaches us, but they're saying that we're probably going to get smoked by another galaxy running into our galaxy by that point. But that would go with the Bible, wouldn't it? Falling stars and all that it speaks of.
Yeah, but I think the one you're talking about, they're saying is what, millions of years away from us still.
Yeah, the void's got a way. You and I will be long dead and everything, and our grandkids will be having grandkids and grandkids way before that whole meets Earth. And besides, humanity, as stupid as it is, if God ain't here yet, we'll blow ourselves up. That's the way we do.
I'm positive that he will be though, because by my calculations, and I could be off a couple hundred years, keep in mind, but by my calculations, we are about 6,007 to 800 years old, the Earth. And I believe that when we hit the 7,000 year mark, that's going to be the beginning of Christ's millennial kingdom, meaning tribulation and all of that has to happen right before the turn to the 7,000th year, because Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath. So that's my theory. I don't think we have the millions of years left. And I certainly don't believe we had millions of years to start with.
I'm still working that out in my head about the whole young Earth thing. As you know, I've held on to the old Earth for a while. That's what I was programmed into believing all my life, from school and everything like that. But I do listen to Kent on it. I have listened to you in the past, and my buddy TTOR, he's made some excellent points. It's just I'm not as knowledgeable in that area as I should be, but probably going to need to look into that more. That way, I'm not giving people any bad information when in debates or discussions.
All right. So that's interesting. Let's go through that.
Sure, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so you're having trouble believing in a young Earth creation.
Right, sure, go ahead.
All right, so why are you having trouble believing in the young Earth creation? Do you think that we need more than 7,000 years?
Not really. I think that science requires the Earth to be that old due to they need that for the whole time process of their imaginary evolution and some other theories and hypotheses they throw out there. It wouldn't hurt my feelings no matter how old the Earth is. But you do realize that scientists now are claiming that the universe isn't just 16 billion years old, but it's 40 now. And they plan in the next couple of years to change the age of the Earth from 4.5 billion to like 10 or 15. So they're getting ridiculous with their time spans. But that alone right there makes me question. I mean, how many times are they going to flip the switch on the timetable?
Well, they're going to have to continuously do it, and I'll explain why. So they look at Earth and they say that they claim they observe the evidence of a old Earth. I reject that notion. I don't think they see the evidence for an old Earth. I think they see the evidence for a very scarred and traumatized Earth, obviously from the flood. For example, you ever had anyone in your immediate family that dealt with drugs or alcohol?
Yeah, I've had some family members I've had to take to rehab and deal with them, sure. Actually had my sister's brother died less than a year ago. Not brother, but husband died less than a year ago because he was an alcoholic.
Well, if you've ever had someone close in your family struggle with really hard drugs, you'll see that they can just do drugs for a short period of time and they will physically appear to age 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I mean, Living that kind of lifestyle dramatically makes you look older. You can be in your teens and look like you're in your late 40s. I've seen it, like with my own eyes. And I think that's the same thing we observe with the earth. We look at the earth and it's very traumatized, just like a drug addict would be. And we say,
Well,
okay,
I myself, I'm not a drug addict or alcoholic, but I've been said to look older and more mature than what I actually am, especially if I don't dye my hair. You know, I've got the white all over, and especially if I eat too many steaks and stuff and mac and cheese, as people like to joke, you know, get a little hefty. That definitely adds to looking like you're older than what you are. So basically, what you're saying is the earth resembles something that's older, but it's not. There's no way for me to be able to contrast that though, because I don't know what the hell a billion-year old rock compared to a modern day one looks like. I'm not a rock guy. Well, actually I am, but that's music.
all right, well, let me continue on for my hypothesis for the universe, because they also claim that in addition to a old Earth, they observe evidence for an old universe. And this is all based off of light shift. How far the stars are from us, they determine to be how old we are. That's one of their telling factors. So they're never going to catch up to how old we are, and they're going to always have to add time because the scripture says that God stretches out the heavens and it never says he stopped. So, for all we know, he is continually, even right now, still stretching the heavens further and further and further from us right here. So, it's going to look like it's a super old universe when it's not. It's just still being stretched.
That's a pretty good scientific argument, and that's actually not just biblical, but that is what scientists claim, that we live in an expanding universe that seems to be going on everlasting. Of course, they have theories about how the universe can end, but at this point, they just say it's expanding. So you're right, the stars are being drawn out, everything is suffering from entropy. So go with it, I'm listening. You got my attention.
Well, I think that explains why we would observe an old Earth in an old universe. So I don't know. Do you need evidence for why a young Earth creation can't work, or do you have any trouble believing in it?
Well, Stephen, you got to understand there's a lot of Christians out there, including myself, who we've went to public school all of our life, and this is what we've been pushed down our necks. For a long time, I actually believed that I was a damn monkey because that's what I was told for years. It's only been in the last 6 years of being a Christian and really, really getting hardcore into this and question it that I've come to the realization that evolution was nonsense. But the universe, that's a bigger issue to deal with. That's not something that can just be changed overnight unless somebody says something cute that I can't deny.
I don't know. See, all the things they taught you in public school about the age of the Earth, the age of the universe, those were all placeholders for the absence of God. But now you know that God. You believe that he was manifest in his son Christ Jesus. You don't need all that nonsense anymore. I
Well,
want to help you get
the
across the
idea of
block.
the universe being old or young, I don't think that in any kind of way. I mean, you could say that the universe is a trillion years old. I don't care. That for me doesn't argue the non-existence of God. I never tried it. Whenever I was a non-believer, the universe was never something that I used on it. Remember what I told you last time we talked? I've never heard a scientific argument or an argument about the universe that could be used to deny the existence of God. Not once. It's always emotional arguments and boo boo stuff.
Yeah, the issue is, though, if we can discredit Genesis, the very first book of the Bible, and actually we're talking about the first few chapters of the first book of the Bible, then all the rest of it could be false also. So you can't concede there because otherwise we make our God really small.
Yeah, but there's I've heard some religious people who are old earthers actually make some arguments that before death was introduced into the world, Adam and Eve were immortal. Before they actually took from that tree and eaten from it, they weren't aging. There was no pain or suffering in the world at that point, so they could have been a million years old before taking upon this thing that obviously changed their biology and brought death into the world.
Hmm. I don't know. I know I've heard that assumption before, but it doesn't make any sense because he gives us 7 literal days, and then the very next event is described as that event, the fall, and then immediately following that is the exit and departure from the garden. So they would really have to surgically insert those millions of years into the Garden of Eden narrative.
Well, there's also the idea of this, and I'm not. I hope you don't take it. I'm just having an open discussion with you. I'm not saying
No,
you're
you're a
wrong.
dirty heathen, Brett.
But God's time is different than our own, is it not? And this is a God that has the power to pause the entire space time continuum. He did it in the book of Joshua, didn't he?
Sure, he stopped the sun from setting for 24 hours, but even
In
that
order to
wouldn't
do
equate
that,
to the
you'd
millions of
actually,
years.
but in order to do that, you'd have to freeze the earth and the sun and all that in its position to stop it from happening. The point is that God could have paused the game any time and did what he wanted, and it would have still seemed like 6 days to us. It could have seemed like 3 days. Whenever God wants to do things, he has control over time. You believe that, right?
Sure, but I think you're not maybe looking at that miracle from the right light. I don't think he would have to stop all of those forces. I think he would just have to have the sun follow that direct point of contact for the 24 hours. And that might explain why parts of the world got a little extra cooked, like Saudi Arabia, all desert.
Right. Well, they claim that the deserts back in the day used to have safaris and all that kind of stuff. The atheists, of course, don't like to accept the idea that there might have been a worldwide flood that destroyed all that, but okay.
Well, that's what they're saying now that Antarctica is also. It's a lost continent that's covered in ice, but they say we're going to discover all kinds of prehistoric anomalies there.
I heard that. I did, and I just recently got done watching a documentary where they're mocking climate change people because apparently we've got some new massive ice movements going on up there showing that it's not melting, it's not going away. So, we got more ice cubes in our tea now.
Oh, well, that's good news. I mean, the climate change thing, I know it's going to be, in my opinion, partially accurate, but it's also unavoidable because the Bible describes the second ending of this world with fire. So, I mean, if they're thinking that fire is our inevitable end, okay, that just kind of verifies the scripture.
Yeah, but do you notice whenever it talks about the flames of the earth and all that, there's two things that describe what initiated the fires. One, angels pouring their wrath down on the earth, and the other thing is war. It said there's going to be rumors of war and wars where people are doing stuff, and well, that's just how humans roll, right?
It's funny that you say that. I was reading that passage of scripture just today, and those are just the birth pains.
That's when the fun begins, right? I hear you.
Yeah, you believe we're going to be here through the whole tribulation, right?
I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some people there, and I heard from some religious folks. I'm not sure how to interpret it. I'd love to hear your view on it, but doesn't it say something about the people who are like left in the issue? They'll cry and they'll scream and they'll do all these things, but they won't be able to die. They'll beg for death, but they won't be able to. It's like they'll be immortal and be forced to go through it.
I think that's during the very tail end of tribulation. Yeah, they'll seek death and not find it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's how it's worded. Good job. Oh,
Yeah. Man, we had some good rides. Oh, by the way, Atheist AJ was in the comments yesterday running at the mouth, and he wants you and I to both debate him 2-on-1.
He wants us to debate him on what? Bananas, strawberries, what?
I mean, I'm assuming evolution versus creation.
The last time we had a discussion with him, you caused him to have a meltdown, and he started slapping his own head like a dumb monkey. It was sad.
I honestly do not remember that, Brett.
Well, could have been one of my fantasies. I don't know. But you said something about a banana, and he just lost it.
All right. No, yeah. It's been a while since you and I engaged him. I never responded to him. He was trying to get on while you and Achilles were talking. He was asking why he couldn't come on to the open panel, and Achilles is like, it's closed now.
Well, Steve and I explained to Hart yesterday because Hart asked me how I felt about having him come in, and I said, "Well, the guy spends his entire life going after Kent Hovind. His channel's directed towards him." I said, "If someone made a channel all about Steve and attacking him all day, it would be no offense, but assholish of me if I were to let that person come into my room and enjoy our time whenever I'm your buddy. That would be stupid, right?" You agree?
Yes, but also please, please, please remember the language.
All
But
right.
yes, that would be very stupid. Yes, I agree with that sentiment.
So I'll tell you what, I'll make Junior a deal. He gets rid of all the videos of Kent Hovind and starts making his own actual content, or make some videos towards me having a discussion about evolution through his own videos. Then I'll be more than happy to talk to him that way. And if he can handle himself and show that he's in control over his behavior, I'll be more than happy to talk to him, one on one or both of us. It don't matter. Does that sound fair? Remove all the nastiness, and then we won't have no excuse to keep you out.
Well, I agree with your direction, but I can tell you ahead of time he will absolutely never agree to it. He will, however, have to see me face to face. So I'm interested in offering him a handshake and engaging with evolution versus creation. And that's going to be interesting. I'm going to see him at the ARC protest in July.
He's actually going to show up to the art protest. Exactly are they protesting?
Okay, so they're actually not protesting Noah's Ark, to be fair. They are protesting the massive tax breaks that Kent Ham acquired to build the Ark there because he promised so much money would flow into the community because of the tourism and especially the hotel industry. But now he's actually building hotels on the Ark property or right close to it. So he's kind of going back on his deals after getting all the tax breaks. So a lot of the atheist uh, community in Kentucky are kind of outraged about that aspect of it.
Why is Ken Ham doing that? Why isn't he keeping his deal?
I don't know. Honestly, that's between Kent Ham and Jesus.
Well, that's going to be a lot of drama for him. But Ken Ham seems like the type of guy that likes a little bit of excitement. But it seems like a cold can.
Hey, Brett, this is my wife.
Your wife, hello, how you doing?
She might
I'm
not be
good. How
able to
are you?
talk. Oh, she can talk.
I'm just chilling. We're trying to figure out how old the Earth is and how long it'll take Mr. Junior to flip out
How are
again.
you guys doing?
I don't think she can hear us, Stephen.
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe it's just a delay. You want to repeat your question, Brett?
Well, I was just saying hello. How you doing? Hopefully she can hear us.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right. Did you see my video, Stephen, asking the question that I did to the Christian community?
Did that one come out today?
Yeah.
No, honestly, I have not seen that yet. I've kind of been lazy today. I've just been laying in bed and I've been watching a lot of James White debates.
Well, I guess I'll throw out the point and then see what your opinion is on it, because I do respect your opinion. The thing
Sucker.
is that you know I'm a musician and I like to record music. Well, I've been recording a lot of other musicians as well and trying to help them with their work. And I just recently got two people that, well, not two people. One of them is a full size crew and all that, but they're gangster rappers. And I was curious if Christians think it would be wrong of me to record and produce them.
Christian gangster rappers. You know what?
No, they do claim to believe in God. I did have a talk with them about that, and one of them likes to wear crosses and all this kind of stuff. You know, like what you see in music videos. Um, but they're rough. They're from St. Louis, and they do some pretty hardcore rap.
Well, you have to be careful there because, for one thing, just believing in God is not enough. You can believe in God fully and still go to hell. You have to believe that Christ is God in the flesh and that he died for your sins and rose from the dead, and believe that he saved you. So, those are two different things. But, I mean, if these are Christian guys, I don't see a problem with you producing some Christian rap for them. But I have kind of a Baptist background. Um, a lot of Christians, I think, may disagree with me.
Well, they got a lot of soft music and they got a lot of relaxing stuff, but they do have, um, like I did show people an example on my video of one of the demos that we've been working on, and it's one of those type of tracks where, you know, don't get up on me, don't get in my face kind of thing, or you get cracked. That those kind of lyrics. It's rough.
Huh. Well, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't, Brett, but you and I have two different styles, so that's my conviction. On the other hand, you should see if you could set up a couple atheists to come onto your channel and then have me and Krista come on because she is a young earth creationist and she packs a powerful punch.
Well, sounds fun. The problem is, Stephen, is I have the same issues you do with atheists. They're frightened of me and tremble and pee their diapers whenever I call them out. So, trying to actually get them to show up, that's hard to do.
Mm. I do sometimes really truly feel like I caught the last atheist that's going to come on the show because they either think we are too harsh or they can't disprove our arguments or they're trolling us. So I've run out of atheists, I think, on the internet. That's crazy.
I noticed even back in the day, whenever I was a non-believer, I used to enjoy coming in and having discussions with folks. And I remember seeing that other non-believers would sit there all quietly, like they were waiting for me to do all the talking and all this. And I would say, "Hey, are you going to? Do you got anything you want to throw out there? Any views you have?" No, no, man, I'm just listening to you. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know why they have this where they like to talk trash on video, but they ain't got nothing in real time.
I mean, I understand it, Brett. If I had to defend evolution, I'd keep quiet too, unless I absolutely had to. Because when you say it out loud enough times, I think you start to realize that it is, in fact, a fairy tale. You just put millions of years between the kissing the frog and it turning into the prince.
Hey,
When I
Steven.
when I was doing my arguing and all that, I usually didn't bother bringing up evolution or anything like that. I usually back then I was going directly at the Bible and morality and all this kind of stuff. That was where I played, was playing around whenever I was like that.
Hmm.
But she sounded like she had something to say.
What's that, hon?
You should ask Donnie if he knows anybody that would come on and debate.
I did ask Donnie. Donnie is supposed to look through a couple people for us and try to send somebody our way. But I don't know. It's been hard. Calvinists don't like coming and talk to us anymore. Orthodox don't like coming and talking to us anymore. I don't know. Maybe we have to go easier on people.
There's no way to. I've tried doing the whole nice routine and let people have all kinds of slack, and it still doesn't work. Even when I think that I'm being as basic as possible, it causes them to go into a frenzy.
Yeah, they do have
Just because they
meltdowns.
can't handle the truth.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they don't like handling the truth.
Well, it's not just about on science and history and geography, but the arguments they use. I told you, Stephen, I've heard them all. Whenever I was doing all that kind of stuff, I had already said everything that these people have said 100 times. So it's like, I'm like, come on, come up with a new script already. It's boring.
Someone in the comments took such great offense to one, the fact that I called Aaron Raw the Gothic Fabio, and which I love. And the other thing they took great offense to was that I said he basically mimicked your entire atheist career. And he's like, show facts. And I'm thinking, I have to go through, what, 5 or 6 years of YouTube history to show you the similarities between Aaron Raw's climb and Brett Keane's climb in the atheist community? Hey, Robin, you didn't go to bed. You lied.
I've actually had a discussion with Aaron Raw in the past. I don't know if you knew that. I know that he's imitated me in a lot of different ways, but I brought up the whole pain receptors and got into biology with him. And did I tell you what he said to me?
I can only imagine, but fill me in.
I'm sitting there, and there's all these other atheists. It's just me against a bunch of non-believers. So Aaron Ross says, what is your issue with evolution? And I brought up all these different points for him, and I could see it in his eyes that it was like a deer in headlights. And I said, well, do you have anything you want to say? You've been sitting there quietly for a while. And he goes, a lot of the stuff you brought up would require a thesis. And I will have to get back with you, and I'll get the information and we can discuss it further. And I said, great. What day and what time? He goes, well, is your email still the same? And I'm like, yeah. I never got an email back from him. He ran his ass out of there, and that was the end of that. So he whenever he's in front of a teleprompter or a Wikipedia or something, he can read that off on video and give the appearance he's smart, but in real time, smoked him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't question his intelligence because I kind of suspect the same thing you did. However, he does come off smarter than me. I still have enough logical common sense, I think, to just realize that evolution can't work. And I have the advantage of knowing that you can't fit all those billions of years in 7,000 years. So it just doesn't work that way, also.
Oh, your lady friend took off. I hope that I didn't offend or anything like that.
No, she's here in Alabama, and she's got terrible signal where she's at right now.
Oh, that's hateful.
Yeah. She went to go visit her mom for Mother's Day, and they are way out in the country.
As far as Junior goes, I made an entire video where I brought up like 5 different issues with evolution. If he's really interested in having an evolution discussion, why doesn't he attack any of the videos I've done? He just simply wants to go after Kent Hovind all the time.
Well, it's because the clickbait ability from Brett Keane is in a niche community, and Kent Hovind's name is a niche community clickbait too, but I think he has a wider range than you do. Like for you, most of the clickbait comes from the drunken peasant stuff, and unfortunately, they put a ton of it out there. Most of my clickbait stuff has come from, ex-wives of Kent Hovind or some of the disgruntled employees that left there, that stuff. So we both have those obstacles to overcome.
Well, if somebody comes in bothering me about it, I feel like I've already expressed and dealt my responses. I've already told people I'm not going to have a repeat conversation about it, and I don't want to talk about a lot of other of the old drama that was going on. So if people are hoping to get in here to talk to me about it, I'll go just outside and have a vape, you know.
I mean, I just asked Robin, I said, go tell your atheist friends to come in and talk to us because she's super respectful. So she has some really respectful atheist friends. And it's so weird, but Big Bad Mama can actually be respectful when he wants to be also because he'll come on Kent's show and have really respectful back and forths.
Oh, he started actually talking to Kent.
Oh, yeah, he shows his face and everything, man. It's almost like a bromance.
Oh, well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. But he's still making videos about him, isn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they really are in love with Kent Hovind. Like I don't know if it's that they looked into his eyes. He's really charming. I know they hate his theology, but he's charming as heck. I've almost fallen in love with Kent Hovind looking in his eyes.
Well, I mean, you're saying that Big Mama acts nice to Kent and all that, but I don't know if you realize this, but I think it was right after I got off a live show with you. I went over to see what old Miss and Maud's been up to. I still don't, I'll put this out there, still don't trust her worth a damn, but I try to be nice nonetheless. So I went over there and I'm looking, and she brought that guy and a bunch of other people, and they said some pretty heinous ass things about Kent. Don't
Brett.
sound that lovely.
Too many cuss words. Way too many.
Oh, sorry about that. The point is, they were being pretty heinous on the chat, and I believe that video is still up there.
I'm sure that it is. I have no problem believing that. Um, they don't have a lot to attack Kent Hovind's arguments because he defends himself so well. So obviously, they're always going to go after the personal attacks whenever they can.
And that's the thing. If we're dealing with an atheist who's like that, who's basically made their whole life around just personal attacks, why do I want to get involved or participate with somebody like that? I don't mind if Robin wants to talk. She's a sweetheart, and I'll even talk to some of the people that she's had in her rooms. I've watched some of her stuff, and some of them seem pretty cool. I'll talk to them.
Yeah. Well, I wish you were around, 9 months ago, a year ago, when we actually still had a lot of atheists coming on. That would have been the perfect time for you to drop by.
I was scared them away quicker, though.
Yeah, that's true, but we could have had some good sword swinging together. But Achilles came into the picture, and he has been a great brother in arms.
Oh, that guy that we were talking to yesterday?
Yeah, Achilles from Greece.
Yeah, he seems pretty cool. He don't like Trump, though.
I mean, to be honest, I have a big problem with how much he's being idolized right now. And it's not coming from the left. So it's all the idolizing is coming from the right side of politics. And scares me. I don't like it.
Uh, it's. I don't think that Trump is actually encouraging it or anything. It's just the way people are. They see him doing something cool, and they're like, "Oh, our president's doing something cool." You got to understand, people have been starved for 4 or 5 years. We had a president with oatmeal for brains.
Yeah, that's true. But, the thing about America is it's such a large country with so many ideas. The movement has to be a slow process or it will cause a knee jerk reaction. So, going rapidly from Joe Biden, who basically did nothing his last 4 years and was a lame duck president, and then going immediately to a second term of Donald Trump, but on steroids because he's out for revenge. We have some rocky times in the economy coming, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he just apparently worked out a trade deal with China today. There is an issue that Christians probably aren't going to be too happy about. Trump just recently, due to Tulsi Gabbard and his Heth guy that's in the military, they found out that Israel had some spies in the military, our American military, that were leaking information, and they got rid of them. So now Israel's angry with us, and they're also angry with Trump because he says he's going to like do some kind of thing to credit or validate the Palestines. So, oof.
Yeah, I I don't know. I hope that he doesn't go to war against Israel, because if there's a draft, once I get over there, I'm going to have to cross the border and help Israel.
Oof, that's rough. No, I don't think that Trump hasn't said anything like that, but the guy that's running Israel is getting all excited though. He's getting really anxious.
Well, the day you see us go to war with Israel, pack your bags and move to Canada, Brett, because there's nothing like the wrath of God when people go against his chosen people.
I don't think that Trump wants to do anything bad to Israel or have any kind of negative things, but the guy from Israel is upset about the whole Palestinians, and plus Trump keeps demanding that he stop blowing up those Gaza people.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I think that's going to cause Israel to get mouthy, and I think that's going to hurt Trump's ego, and then he's going to try to walk with his big stick, and it's just going to become a fumble if they don't do it very delicately.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, we have three very important allies that we should maintain: the United Kingdom, Israel, and India. Those are very strategic parts of the world that we need to maintain fellowship with, and they've historically been good allies to us.
No telling. The world's a funny place right now.
It does seem every day like it's on its head. Like every day the world changes crazy. And now the Pope is American, and I want you to think about this. He's Pope for life. So what would stop him after, say, 4 years or 8 years, because he's American, running for president?
Oof, that's rough.
You would have two of the most consolidated powers in the world consolidated even more with the papacy and the American presidency. That would be powerful enough to force Americans into the one religion. I know. I'm speechless too, Brett.
Sorry, I was trying to lock up a video out here so it wouldn't cause me delay the live broadcast.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That wasn't causing an echo for you, having them both pulled up?
Uh, no, I had the volume down, but I was paying attention to comments. For some reason, on my end, the comments inside of EB Mux is hard to read. The words are really small. Oh, did you get my email about me asking something to you?
I did. I'm not really interested. I don't want to monetize. I don't ever plan on monetizing. I kind of have a Keith Green mindset on the gospel. I don't think we should profit off of it. Now, that's different from like Christian artists who do music and stuff, but with our content primarily being more Bible studies and Christian fellowships, I just don't want to monetize it.
Okay. You don't have any Christian bands down there? Any musicians?
I know a Christian band that you could interview. You could interview. You've interviewed them before. Tomorrow's End.
Well, I mean, what I don't know if they told you this, but do they have any kind of like music or anything that's copyrighted?
Oh no, I don't. I don't think so. No, I don't think they copyright their stuff either. Maybe
Oh,
I'm wrong. Maybe it's all copyrighted, because they also do comic books. They do cartoons. They do serials. They do everything.
okay. So just to throw it out there, what can be done and stuff is if you took your friends that are in a band, or I
Mhm.
did something for you, what could happen is you could use something musically as an intro that is copyrighted. If you know the people, then you know you're not going to get in trouble. But you use it as your intro, it copyrights your video, and your video gets content ID'd. This means nobody will be able to snatch your videos anymore, and you could get paid if you work out a deal with whoever you do that with.
I don't know. That's complicated for my small brain. I'll have to consult with President Dan and with Achilles because they have bigger brains.
It's just a matter of putting a song like at the beginning of the video, like you're doing an intro or something like that, like you normally do, and then it gets copyrighted and set up. Didn't that happen whenever you put my song on your video?
No, I didn't get any kind of warning.
It didn't say this is Brett Keane's work or anything like that?
I don't think so. Let me take a look before I lie to you. I don't want to lie to you. I mean, I have ADHD, so technically I see stuff all the time, and unfortunately it goes in one ear and out the other.
Right.
I was proud of myself, though. I did remember to call my mom and wish her Happy Mother's Day.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Yeah, my son came by and he picked up the mama bear and he's taking her out to eat and to a movie.
All right. Okay, so I did get a copyright strike, and it was for Brett Keane audio.
It's not a copyright strike. It's just saying that you're playing content by me. If you look, it'll say that the person who created this music allows you to use it. Do you see that?
It tells me that this claim doesn't restrict your video at the moment.
Right, because the content user hasn't made any kind of moves or done anything like that. I set all my distribution up for it to be played by whoever uses it. It doesn't matter who, and I get paid every time the song gets hit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling you, man. That's how you could content ID your videos and not have to worry about dealing with the aggravation of Google or YouTube. And if you got somebody like me who's a nice guy, you could actually make a little bit on the side.
Look, if you want to come up with a really awesome Proverbs Guys Ministries song, I will play it on almost every episode. I will incorporate it into a opening for you, and we do like at least one episode a day, 7 days a week, typically. So you'd get some action on it.
Well, the problem is that it would be easy for me to come up with a theme song for you. I don't have no problem doing that. The problem is it actually has to be distributed to all the different companies first before it could actually be used and all that and copyrighted. You get the point? I can't just make something and then send it to you and then all of a sudden it'll work. It has to be a song of mine that's already copyrighted. TTOR really likes the song Dear God, and he's been using it in his videos.
Well, what I've really been wanting to do is on Cameo, I can go on there and I can get Chris Hansen to say, "This is Chris Hansen. You're watching Proverbs Guys Ministries. Have a seat." Boom, $75. I'm just waiting for the $75 because all my money is accounted for.
Is he copyrighted in saying that?
I don't think so because it's Cameo, so you pay them to give you a personalized message and they make money for doing it. It's like a 2025 version of an autograph.
Oh yeah, I think I heard of that where you could like talk to actors and musicians on that thing.
Hey man, you could make a fortune off Cameo. Everybody from, particular channels that every time they mentioned it, you'd get money.
Well, oof. I don't know. It'd be kind of weird for me though because I'm already opening up my rooms to people as well as opening people's ability to be on the radio.
Yeah, I was going to hop on your show, but you only ran for 30 minutes and I could not jump on at 7 Central. I have to wait till 8 Central.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, TTOR, he said he had something that came up for him as well. So I was like, well, this is rough. There were people that were watching, but they weren't coming in. I'm not going to sit there. If I'm going to do all that talking, I can just record a solo video. You know what I mean?
I hope Justin can continue doing his show with us. I really like him and I like his shows. But I know he just moved into his own house, so he's probably got a lot more stress on his shoulder than he did.
He probably will. He loves doing videos, and he's in the process of his own video website. So he would love to probably have the opportunity to be somewhere good where he can continue to advertise. Quarter is what he calls it.
Yeah, his streaming platform.
Yeah, yeah. I
Corridor.
encouraged him in the past. I told him, "Hey, man, you ought to do stuff with Steven and stuff. You guys got a lot of the same views on things, and you guys probably be able to bounce off each other." And he said, "Oh, I'll have to look into it then, Brett. Thanks."
Oh, yep. Yeah. I don't know if he 100% likes me. I think he might be a little bit tainted opinion towards me just because of my association with Kent Hovind. And I know during all that time, with all the back and forth with the different communities, he kind of got a tainted view of Kent Hovind. So I don't know if, but it could also just be in my head.
Well, I've talked to him plenty of times behind the scenes where he's asked me what is my views of Kent, and I say I still like Kent. I still think Kent has a good message, but like you, I disagree with that issue. I'm not going to bring it up and all that. I think that any rational person would have had issue with it, but it's not something I feel that needs to condemn Kent Hovind like a lot of people would want to do.
Yeah. Well, anything they can utilize to take Kent Hovind out, anything at all, but especially something like that. But that won't be it. There'll always be something else. Every part of his life is breaking news to them.
Well, I think very soon a lot of people are going to be taking their focus off on Kent because I seen an old YouTuber return that's a real nasty type. And I'm a little worried about my buddy TTOR because I think that this person has it out for him, and he might actually have it out for you as well, since you were associated with some people. You know who I'm talking about? I don't know if I should say his name out.
No, I don't.
I'll give you a hint. All right.
Okay.
Uh, wears a robe, has a misty face.
Wow. Oh, is he back in town?
Yeah, he's doing live shows. He did one earlier today where it was called "Bury the Corpses of My Foes." It was pretty rough. He sounded really ragged and raspy. I said, "You might want to have some tea and a lemon with that. Your throat sounds really rough. What you been doing with your mouth there, guy?"
Wow. Well, yeah. So, did you see the episode that Achilles and I did on him?
No, but I understand he's got a lot of Christians angry because apparently a lot of Christians believe in once saved, always saved, and he's heavily against that. That like irritates him.
Yeah. I don't I don't know what to say, man, because we already bopped him on the head and he went away once. So I hope that we don't have to bop him on the head again because my wife gets really angry at me whenever we do drama. She hates drama like really bad. So it's going to get me in trouble and I hope he'll go away on his own.
You know, to be fair, what he does and everything like that, I'm kind of used to him. He used to actually come on to my live shows when I first started doing live shows years ago, and that's why people were able to get his picture because he came onto my live show without the cloak and the stupid image and avatar. But him I'm used to, it's all the religious people who do the adoration and admiration towards him that is kind of weird to me. Even though they know what he did, they're still like kissing his feet.
I don't know, man. I can't explain. I don't know. I wish I had answers for you, Brett, but I have no answers for you, sir.
It is what it is. How come you and him got into it for? You were telling me about something.
Um, we got into it for multiple reasons. I don't care to get into it right now, but I am going to send you a video that I did with Achilles that should clear it up for you.
All right, fair enough.
I just don't know. I'll try to find it and send it to you, but I know I still have it somewhere tucked away. But yeah, so, but we did do a whole episode going down a list and explaining how this person should not wear a robe because he's not an actual person that would wear a robe. You following me?
Right, you're basically saying that the avatar is throwing people off.
Well, no, I'm saying that he's not really a priest.
Yeah, he's not.
Right. Well, Achilles and I are the ones who exposed that publicly.
I think he one of the you know why he doesn't like me for, right?
Uh
Well, have you ever heard of I think his name's Kenny or something like that?
No.
It
Kenny
was
who?
it was a guy who ran some kind of religious organization. He hangs out with him all the time, likes to use images of Siths from Return of the Jedi. I forget what his name is.
I have no
Kennedy.
idea who you're talking about.
Well, it's his best buddy. What happened was, get this guy, he was claiming to be a hardcore preacher and all this. So, people questioned him if that was true. Well, we found out he had done some videos for like some kind of Christian network or something like that, and he was actually working for an organization. Well, he come into my room one day getting loud with me, and I'm like, "What's the issue?" And he goes, "Brett, you never talk about this or that." And I said, "Well, nobody's brought up this theological discussion with me before, or I would have been more than happy to talk about it then." So, I mean, he seemed like he was wanting to start a fight with me. And then I started getting emails with threats and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it was really off the wall. So what I ended up doing was I called that Christian network that he was a part of and showed them some of the recordings that he's left for me, and they fired him. So now the old boy is mad at me.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he said he wanted to come to my home and beat the hell out of me in front of my wife and all that. I didn't even know nothing about him. All I know is I got this guy. He even put his name on the answering machine like an idiot with the phone number. He was actually doing that at the Christian Network.
Let me ask you this. Did you really sue somebody and get some money, or was that just a terrific story? Because you are a storyteller. You have the
Well,
narrating
I do
voice.
like to tell stories, but if you remember, when I tell stories, I'm usually talking about something that happened in my past or something that happened in life or an experience I had at the moment. So I don't, when I tell the stories, I'm not making it up, unless I'm being goofy and doing some kind of parable about a snot turning into a monkey. Obviously, that's a story, but no. As far as having to do that, yeah. And I didn't actually think something was going to happen over it either. I figured the lawyer was just going to tell me, get lost, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, things worked out. And it happened a lot quicker than I thought.
I don't know. How have you not been able to get the other bigger channel out for the same thing? Like,
That's
how have they
already
not offended?
being looked into and all that, and things are being gathered. The lawyer is wanting to build a huge case on some of these different characters out here. He doesn't want to just get them for one or two little things and stuff. He wants to be able to completely and utterly annihilate them and get as much on them as possible. I know who you're talking about, one of the groups specifically, but it's not just them that the lawyer's looking into.
Got you. Do me a favor, will you? I need to step away for about 60 seconds. Can you hold the fort down for 60 seconds without profanity?
I'll see what I can do. It may be a struggle, but I'll give it a shot.
I appreciate it, Brett.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Brett Keane. I can be found at God TV Radio on YouTube. For those who don't know, I run a Spotify, Amazon Music podcast radio station. I'm also a musician, and I also do a lot of work whenever it comes to writing and books and such like that. Most of my books are not religious oriented, though. They are more like science fiction, that kind of material. But besides that, how is everybody doing today? Are you blessed? Is anything good happening for you? Have you been doing like me and trying to stay away from the news because it's depressing? What's up? Do we even have anybody watching? Let me take a look on the outside of this.
Well, there are 3 people watching altogether. There are 2 from YouTube and 1 from Twitch.
Oh boy, that's rough.
We have a secret admirer, and the reason I say that is because almost every single episode we will have a one faithful viewer over on Twitch. So it's obviously somebody who doesn't want to give us a view on YouTube, and they don't mind giving us one view on Twitch.
That's fine. Well, Twitch, you can actually get some listeners. I used to run the God TV radio thing through Twitch and all kinds of other social media sites at the same time. I got like I got almost 200 people over there on Twitch, and it's a new account. I can't get into my old Brett Keane YouTube Twitch for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. So I got a really good name too, Starfield Starborn. Yes, I got that name. I can't believe somebody didn't use it already.
Did TTOR tell you about FTJ Media?
What kind of media?
It's a new streaming platform. It's a new competitor to Rumble and YouTube. It's called FTJ Media. Now, in order to live stream, you do have to pay $5 a month. But every episode I streamed, I was getting like 100 views.
$5 a month. Well,
It's a new
give me a
competitor.
link. Let me take a look at it and see if it's what kind of nonsense we got going on here. Give me a link.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, I've seen hundreds of different websites that T2R showed me, but I'm not familiar with this one.
This one is brand new. Some of his friends run it, so he's getting even better views, but it's a real good one. Now, they are a lot looser with letting people speak, and there's a lot of anti-Semitism over there, right? So my friend Joseph said FTJ could stand for something very bad on that platform because of some of the users there. But I was thinking faithful to Jesus.
Oh, this looks like the same kind of format as what TTOR runs.
It might be.
Yeah, TTOR has asked me if I would do live streaming on his thing, and so is Josh Who. But problem is their page is. I hate to say this, but you try to live stream or upload videos, and it's a nightmare. It's a lot of lag and delay.
Well, I think that's because he needs a bigger server or more servers. But I wish I could help him out. I wish I could buy him a couple big servers. Because I like his concept and I like him personally, so I wouldn't mind helping him. But I don't think I could afford a big server.
Well, he could. I've actually suggested this to him. He could try chain blocking, or he could try connecting it to cloud, and then when people upload their videos, it'll go to cloud, and then it'll be represented to the iframe that he puts on there. But he's not sure how to do that. And that's just a theory that might actually work. Another thing he could do too is he could, and I've told him this, he should do this, that he should allow embedding. So people can embed their videos from YouTube and other video sites, as well as embed radio stations like Spotify. But he still ain't got around to that either. Been very busy.
I see. Yeah, well, he is kind of like the head of his field now at his job, so he's got that going on. And he's just moving into his own house, so I know he's busier than ever.
Yeah. Have you seen my page recently? You haven't told me what you thought.
Your webpage?
Yeah, let me post it for you.
Post it in the link too.
Let's see. What? There you go. Take a look at that. Tell me what you think.
Where'd you post it? Oh, there in the comments.
Yeah, I figured out a new way to actually be able to interface with links through pictures and images. It's pretty neat.
Let me show you here.
Don't know if you ever heard of an image table before, but that's what I created at the top of my website.
Ah, okay. Let me see. I'll share this. What do you use? Is it Wix? GoDaddy?
No,
You
it's
don't
a
want to share it publicly? You don't have to.
it's a company that already deals with a lot of musicians and all that. This is just my artist page, but they allow me to be able to format it the way I want to. If you're an artist and you have over 1 or 2 albums, they allow you to be able to do what you want to your page. What do you think of that? See all the stuff down below that goes to the other artists and places.
Yeah, man, that looks really nice. Hey, give me 1 second, please. I'm sorry.
All righty. Oh, goodness gracious. Mother's Day. Ugh. Well, anybody want to join and have a conversation, or anybody got any questions out in the comments? I think I might actually be getting old.
Well, this is a really nice website, Brett.
Do you click on any of the boxes?
Let me see. Oh, you can actually play the song. The Devil's Music. Brett.
Yeah.
You don't find that conflicting?
No, you hear a bunch of preachers back in the day, they used to call Elvis Presley devil's music and all that. So it's, stuff that I consider offensive, I put in the category of devil's music.
My Atlanta.
Oh, you didn't? If you scroll down, you'll actually see other tracks when you click on a box. Yeah, just click on one of them and then scroll down and you'll see, keep going. There you go. Yeah, any one of them can be heard for free.
Man, I kind of want to end the show now so I can find out who you use for your website.
Do you know how to do HTML and PHP?
No, but I have mastered GoDaddy, so I feel confident that I could learn something else.
Well, GoDaddy has like some editors that kind of automatically do some of the widgets for you and plugins. But this, you got to kind of know the actual code to be able to put in and what the measurements are and all that. So depends on how much you know or how knowledgeable you are in the code.
I'm not knowledgeable at all.
Oof,
So
that's
you're using something way more advanced than Wix.
well, what are you wanting to put up there?
Well, let me show you my website then. I mean, I thought I had a nice website, but now I can see that I do not have a nice website. So thanks for
Oh,
bringing that up, Brett.
let me see what you got. What are you trying to do with your website?
Let me see here.
Did you post it?
I'm about to. Okay. Here, I'll share now with you.
All right, let's see what we got.
All right, so this is the face of it, and you can go to the store where we have T-shirts, and then I just have our different hosts that we have doing the shows, and then I have one of our highlighted episodes talking with an atheist, and just some of the other episodes we've done. What I'd like to do is make it way better, but also I'd like to put links to where you can actually pull up our YouTube videos.
Well, let me see the page real quick, and I'll see if I can offer you any suggestions or help on this.
All right, well, let me go ahead and end this broadcast, and then I'll pull it up for you while we're backstage.
All right.
All right, so thank you guys for coming to hang out, and come back and hang out with us tomorrow.